Return then to Italy's general election, where the right-wing coalition is tipped to form a government. The far-right group Brothers of Italy may emerge as the largest party in parliament, with Giorgia Meloni as its head. Her allies are other right-wing politicians, Matteo Salvini of the League and former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi of the centre-right Forza Italia party. The coalition will face Enrico Letta's centre-left Democratic Party. It's polling second. Letta was Prime Minister for 10 months from 2013. Another candidate returning is the five-star movement leader Giuseppe Conte. His leftist anti-establishment party won the 2018 election. It's making major gains, with Conte campaigning against the scrapping of welfare payments. Voters' top issues include the high cost of living and rising energy prices. Cecilia Emma Sodilotta is Assistant Professor of Global Politics at the American University of Rome, and she joins us now live from there. Good to have you with us, Cecilia. First, a word about turnout today. Is this election going to be the shoe-in for the Brothers of Italy coalition that pre-election polls suggested that it would be?
So actually, the turnout question was an open question right before this election. The turnout at this moment is very much in line with the same level we had in the past, in the last general election in 2018. So we will see how that plays out. There's been a discussion about the fact that perhaps there may be surprises in case the turnout is particularly high in the southern regions of the country. These may, according to some, favor the five-star movement, but this is far from certain. So we will need to wait for the final results.
Many European leaders are unlikely to welcome a government led by Meloni. What sort of Prime Minister will she be? Is she likely to rock the boat as far as Italy's position within the EU is concerned?
I think it's going to be quite the opposite, in the sense that she's an experienced politician. I mean, she tried to present herself as sort of an anti-establishment or an outsider, but she really isn't. She's an experienced politician, and she knows that the first thing she needs to do once she's in power is to absolutely reassure international partners. So I would expect her to be reassuring in the sense. I expect her to be in line with the obligations that Italy has vis-a-vis the European Union. So any change, especially as far as economic policy is concerned, I think is going to be more cosmetic than other.
You say she's an experienced politician. In terms, though, of her political ability, to what extent is she able to be pragmatic as well as ideological? Will that pragmatism be perhaps a problem in keeping her coalition together, should it gain enough votes to form a government today?
That's the big conundrum. As I said, like she wants to be in power. She knows this is her chance to be in power. So she seems determined not to make mistakes. And even the motto she chose for her campaign is pronti, which in Italian means we are ready, right? So she's really committed to send out this message that her party, her coalition is absolutely ready to rule the country. As you mentioned, I'm not sure that the sort of cohesiveness of the coalition will necessarily be long-lived. There's a chance that, for instance, Matteo Salvini's League will try and play a kind of an internal opposition role. So we see what happens.
All right, how long do you give it, given Italy's reputation for electing unstable governments?
Yeah, I mean, Italy's reputation in terms of coalition survival is not the best, as I think everybody knows. And Meloni's task to succeed is kind of daunting in a sense, because she's coming after Mario Draghi. So she's replacing Mario Draghi, who has been hailed a little bit over a year ago as the most credible personality, most credible prime minister Italy has had for a long time. But I'm pretty sure she's gonna do her best to try and convince.
And do you want anything say anything about the fact that obviously Italy's going to get, if she comes to power, its first female prime minister? Nothing unusual about that in this day and age. I mean, it was almost inevitable eventually. But not only its first female prime minister, but a right-wing one at that.
I don't find that surprising at all. I mean, the fact that she is a right-wing leader is actually in line with the trend that we have seen elsewhere, meaning that when women come to power, they usually, it's easier for them to come to power when they are extremely conservative. So she might be a woman, obviously she is a woman, but in terms of ideas, she pretty much sounds like a 20th century man, to be honest. So that's not really, that's not really surprising. And I don't think that her election will necessarily mean that women's rights are going to advance in the country. It may actually be the opposite.
Good to talk to you, Cecilia. Many thanks indeed. Cecilia Emma Sotilotta there in Rome.
Thank you.